Not well-worn talking points. These are egregious complaints by my constituents, and they deserve an answer. I would remind everybody the President told them this law would reduce premiums for the typical family by $2,500. Jim from Overland Park, Kansas, now tells me his 2015 premium went up 21%. William from Olathe, his monthly premium more than doubled if he wanted to keep his same plan, but as he says, the devil was in the details as the deductible increased and virtually none of our doctors were in the new network. And now April 15 is approaching. The confusion and frustration is bubbling up again as folks prepare their taxes. Here's an example. An independent contractor told our office that due to an unexpected contract he received, his estimated income was off for last year. As a result, all of the previous tax credit he received over the course of the year is now taxable income. Instead of foregoing coverage and paying a $700 penalty, he now owes the IRS $6,700. He tells me he has since dropped his coverage. Those aren't well-worn talking points. Those are real problems that constituents are facing regardless of my state and any other. Dr. Holtz-Eakin, the administration announced this week and underscored by Dr. Blumenthal and by folks on the panel that there are 16.4 million people who have gained coverage since enactment of the law. But another survey took into account insurance losses during some of those years, had a much lower estimate of 9.7 million. How might the administration's figures be off? Can you help us drill down on the number? Are some of these folks technically new enrollees only because their employers dropped coverage and they moved to the exchange? Too many individuals were previously insured, but because of the rate increases, they are choosing to simply pay the penalty this year and forego coverage. So, who has dropped out of coverage? Who came in with regards to what you see?
There are lots of possibilities. The first and foremost would be people who had policies which they could no longer keep because of the law, and so they lost that coverage and then went into the exchanges to get new coverage. That's one possibility. Second is, as you mentioned, some people will simply forego coverage because there's no effective enforcement of the individual mandate, and they'll pay a penalty if indeed they are found and asked to pay a penalty. I'm skeptical of the ability to do that in the 2015 filing season. Employers have incentives to drop coverage. The financial math is that for basically any employee up to 300% of the federal poverty line, it is in the financial interest of both the employer and the employee for that employee to get coverage in the exchanges. They can get coverage that is just as good or better than what the employer is providing, and they can get a raise in the process, and the employer can make a little money in the process. The bad news is that all ends up on the taxpayer's dime, and so those incentives will begin to play out as time goes on. So there are a variety of ways in which the sort of simple number of how many people buy a policy mislead on the net increase in coverage.